time in 10 years. Looking back at the life of the diva of advice and the royal blush, major embarrassment over the minor royals.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight, Sunday.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Simpson. In Arizona tonight, firefighters are losing their battle against what is now the largest wildfire in the nation, and a second fire that is about to merge with it. Together, the fires have consumed nearly 300,000 acres, destroyed nearly 200 homes, and more than 25,000 people have been evacuated from towns in their path. ABC's Brian Rooney joins us from the now deserted town of Show Low, Arizona, where the flames are headed. Brian, how bad is it?
Carol, the first big smoke plume rose at about 7 o'clock this morning, and that's never good when you've got a fire like this. That should be happening later in the day. The aerial bombers are going right overhead now. Fire commanders almost assure us that sometime today they will be losing houses within the city limits of Show Low.
It is really a wall of fire approaching the town of Show Low from the west. At times, the flames are 300 and 400 feet high, sometimes reaching higher to burn hot gases cooking out of the forest. After 4 days, the fire finally crossed a line on the map that triggered an evacuation for another 8,000 people.
Sometime later in the day, if we're unlucky, we're going to have a pretty good wall of flame hitting Show Low on probably a 2 or 3 mile front.
Together, the two fires cover an area of about 470 square miles. The fires are bigger than the city of Los Angeles. In a dramatic moment last night, the information officer drew lines on a map to show how much the fires grew just yesterday.
This was absolutely the most spectacular and most impressive crown out and multiple column burn that I've ever seen.
He drew 2 vertical lines marking the fire's predicted path to the east today and tomorrow. The second line goes right through the middle of Show Low. Within minutes of the evacuation order, police cars cruised the streets. People all over town grabbed the family pets, the photo albums, and a few valuables.
I'm gonna grab my wife's china. She didn't take it. I'm gonna grab it.
Some homeowners set a water sprinkler on their roof before leaving. People were calm but scared and a little sad.
Scared for my home, but I know that if I get my kids out, that's all that matters. I get really nervous. I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
As night fell, officers ran through the streets marking empty homes, some of which may not be here when their owners return. The fire is advancing toward this empty town right now.
When the flaming front hits Show Low, it's going to be an exciting event. We cannot stop that.
Firefighters have gone through those same western neighborhoods since last night, marking the houses and the neighborhoods that they believe they can and they cannot save. They're literally triaging homes, and they think they're going to lose a few of them. Carol?
Brian, you said it's very close to the town limits. What happens when the fire gets inside the town?
The game changes. Then it's partly fighting a wildland fire and partly fighting an urban fire. They have regular city firefighters here. They'll be trying to put out house fires, but the fire will spread a little bit, go through the city like fingers. It will take out some houses, leave others, and it will spread probably around the city. It's going to be a big mess if it happens.
Worsening situation. Thank you very much. ABC's Brian Rooney reporting from Show Low, Arizona. In Colorado, firefighters are still battling 2 major fires there. The smaller of the 2, near Durango, is proving hardest to control. So far, it has destroyed 45 homes. 900 households have been evacuated. Today, officials told more homeowners to prepare to flee. And southwest of Denver, the 137,000-acre Hayman blaze is now more than 2/3 contained. In the battle against crime, a surprising shift. New data from the FBI show that for the first time in a decade, the overall rate of major crimes increased last year by 2%. ABC's Barry Serafin explains why.
Major crimes were up in nearly every category last year. Murders climbed by more than 3%, robbery nearly 4%. car theft nearly 6%. In St. Louis, for example, the number of homicides increased by 20% last year. The number is down again so far this year, but Police Chief Joseph Mokwa says he and his counterparts in other cities have concerns.
Number one, the number of people getting out of the penitentiary that have violent histories. Number two, the number of people in certain demographics.
Especially teenagers, whose numbers are growing.
The more teenagers joining gangs, more ex-gang members coming back to the streets means more trouble ahead.
Criminologists also point to the struggling economy, which has produced more unemployment and fewer tax dollars to support police departments. That strain has been increased by the need to divert police resources to protect against terrorism.
The greatest effect may be in high-crime neighborhoods, where terrorism won't be found, but plenty of street criminals will.
Today, some Democrats pounced on the new crime statistics.
I think this is a stunning setback to the Bush administration's policies. They have cut back the money to local police departments.
Republicans say more federal aid might help, but the law enforcement is primarily a local issue.
Democrats always think the answer to all problems is the federal government and more of the people's taxpayers' dollars.
There is one area of general agreement, that the FBI's new report signals the need for even more intense efforts to fight crime. Barry Saroff on ABC News, Washington.
Turning to news in our overseas briefing tonight, a message reportedly from Osama bin Laden's spokesman. The audio tape broadcast today on Al Jazeera television claimed the al-Qaeda leader and other top operatives are still alive, and he promised new strikes against Americans are being planned. Israeli tanks moved into the Palestinian town of Qalqilia early today, and a new brigade of Israeli reservists was called up, the second in a week. The military expansion on the West Bank follows 2 suicide bombings last week. Buses have long been a target of suicide bombers in Jerusalem, a reminder of just how vulnerable a target they are. In the past 10 days, 42 Israelis have died in bomb attacks on buses. ABC's Hillary Brown reports from Jerusalem.
For the past 12 years, Amit Maliach has been driving a bus through Jewish and Arab sections of Jerusalem. He says he should be dead. Amit was supposed to drive the number 32 bus last Tuesday. Because he was 1 minute late for his shift, another driver was assigned to his route. That driver and 18 other Israelis died in a suicide bomb attack on the 32 bus that morning. Amit heard the blast and went to his funeral, full of survivor's guilt. I spoke to his wife, and she said I shouldn't feel guilty, says Amit. It was a question of fate that it was him and not me. This was the first time in 8 years that a Jerusalem bus driver was killed in an act of terrorism. But there's every sign now that this kind of terror will continue. Hours after the number 32 bus blew up, the extremist Palestinian group Hamas issued this statement claiming responsibility and saying the war of the buses will continue. Half the population of Jerusalem takes the bus each day, people who can't afford to drive a car or take a taxi. Though the main routes are now patrolled by security marshals, when it comes to safety, both drivers and passengers feel pretty fatalistic.
We can't allow it to continue. The world must know we can't live like this.
This man is amazed that Amit is already back on the job.
If I were him, I would take a few months off, and I'm not sure that I would get on a bus again.
But the bus company trains its drivers to keep on working and keep their eyes peeled for anyone who could be the next bomber. We have no idea where the next bomb is going to come from, says Amit, but we have to go on. We have no choice. And so it is for the 300,000 people who ride these buses each day. Hillary Brown, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Still ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday, a memo from Martha Stewart's assistant surfaces in the insider trading investigation. The small southern election sparking a big controversy. And in Britain, the low rent scandal plaguing relatives of the royal family.
This is World News Tonight Sunday, brought to you by Wyeth.
started having hot flashes and night sweats at menopause. My doctor recommended hormone replacement therapy, but I didn't listen.
Up to 20% of a woman's expected lifetime bone loss occurs in the years following menopause.
A year later, I went back to my doctor and found I'd shrunk an inch. This time, I said yes to HRT, and I've been on it for years.
HRT is not right for all women. Talk to your doctor about the benefits and risks.
My hot flashes and night sweats, gone. I feel great. See your doctor and say yes to HRT.
Extra innings separate the winners from the losers. The pressure to perform gets greater the longer the game lasts. Now that I live and play in the city that never sleeps, I need a deodorant that really lasts.
Introducing Arm & Hammer Ultramax Deodorant Antiperspirant. Wetness protection like the leading guys. Plus the pure power of Arm & Hammer Baking Soda. Time release for long-lasting odor protection.
When your day goes into extra innings, it never hurts to have a little extra muscle.
New Arm & Hammer Ultramax. Extra muscle for the game of life.
Using the wrong waterproofer can cost you thousands. Don't be taken for a ride. Demand Thompson's Water Seal. It has the highest level of water protection, guaranteed. Powerful original, new advanced Thompson's Water Seal.
Take care of your future now with new Bayer Women's Aspirin Plus Calcium. Calcium for your bones, aspirin for your heart. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen and ask about new Bayer Women's.
This is nice. This is wonderful. Wow. Love potato salad. You really outdid yourself. Very nice. Try my macaroni salad. This is incredible. Fresh from ladies.
Irresistible. Best foods at its best.
Pass the best foods. Amazing.
This week, the Congressional Committee looking into alleged improprieties involving the biotech company ImClone picks up where it left off. At the center of the controversy, entrepreneur Martha Stewart and allegations of insider trading. New information tonight from ABC's Bill Blakemore.
Representative James Greenwood wants to know what Martha Stewart knew when she had her stockbroker, Peter Bukanovic, sell $250,000 of ImClone stock. Just one day after Stewart's sale, ImClone announced problems with a government application to sell a drug, and its stock plummeted. ImClone's CEO, Sam Waxel, is Stewart's friend. He was arrested for trying to dump millions of dollars of the stock the same day Stewart sold. He's also suspected of tipping off family members.
We know that his daughter was selling her stock off, and we know that their broker was Mr. Bukanovic. We know that that's also Martha Stewart's broker. And right after all of those transactions and attempted transactions took place, he called Ms. Stewart.
Stewart's secretary took the call and wrote this memo to her, stating, amid notes about lampshades and plum puddings, that Bukanovic thinks ImClone is going to start trading downward.
He didn't say that he's watched it go down on the market. He said he thinks it's going to, which is, leads one to believe that that was inside information that he had that he then passed on to Ms. Stewart.
Phone records reportedly show Stewart called Bukanovic back and talked for 10 minutes before the sale. Greenwood's committee plans to ask Bukanovic what they talked about. To be guilty, Martha Stewart would have to have known she was acting on insider information, which can seem to be a gray area. But critics say investigators have to be extra tough on her, since she was recently given a seat on the New York Stock Exchange's 27-member board of directors, responsible for keeping the exchange clean.
She's in charge of voting on rules and actually overseeing the conduct of New York Stock Exchange members such as Merrill Lynch and these brokers.
Merrill Lynch has now suspended broker Bukanovic in connection with the sale. At the very least, Martha Stewart appears to be in what she's famous for abhorring, a mess. Bill Blakemore, ABC News, New York.
Baseball's Darryl Kyle apparently died of a heart attack. The Chicago Medical Examiner says an autopsy today revealed the 33-year-old's coronary artery was up to 90% blocked. The St. Louis Cardinals pitcher was found dead yesterday in his hotel room. A congressional seat is up for grabs in Alabama this week. The incumbent, a Democrat who served 5 terms, is being challenged by a fellow Democrat. He's an opponent gaining attention and financial support from unexpected sources. The story from ABC's political director, Mark Halperin in Birmingham.
How you doing? Hilliard for Congress.
Earl Hilliard is the kind of incumbent congressman who normally would not break a sweat to get reelected. Until now.
They got me on the ropes, brother. I need your help on June 25th.
Vote for Davis, Davis for Congress.
His opponent, Alabama-born political newcomer Artur Davis, a Harvard-educated lawyer just half Hilliard's age.
In order to really penetrate and take on an incumbent as entrenched as Earl Hilliard is, there has to be a pot full of money.
Davis has raised a pot of money by exploiting Hilliard's voting record, seen by some as anti-Israel.
There's been a bipartisan consensus from President Bush to President Clinton on the Middle East, and I think it's Earl Hilliard who sits outside that bipartisan consensus.
The challenger has made trips to Washington and New York to raise money from pro-Israel activists.
He has gathered money from all over, from Jews all over the country.
Davis has shocked the political world by raising $1 million. Remarkable in any House race, but particularly significant here because it's nearly double Hilliard's total. That cash has helped Davis dominate the television airwaves, hitting Hilliard with negative ads using the emotional imagery of September 11th and citing some of Hilliard's more controversial positions.
Drop all sanctions against countries that support and finance international terror networks.
Hilliard has tried to make the source of Davis's support an issue with a potent mixture of money and race.
Are you for sale? Artur Davis thinks so. The price? $270,000 from 290 people and businesses in New York, 63 checks from New Jersey.
Of course, in this mostly black, mostly rural, and mostly poor district, there are other issues on the minds of the candidates and the voters.
The money has been used to focus on the wrong issues. We want the focus to be on the bread and butter issues. Housing, health care, and those things.
Of course, I'm interested in what happens in the Middle East, too, but I got to live here.
Whatever the outcome of Tuesday's election, Democrats are worried about the tensions this race has caused between the party's two most reliable voting groups, Jewish and African Americans. Mark Halperin, ABC News, Birmingham, Alabama.
When we come back, saying farewell to a legend of letters.
In today's real estate market, the Prudential Real Estate Network can get you moving. With over 42,000 sales professionals you can rely on, backed by a name trusted for more than a century. Find out why millions of people are sold on Prudential Real Estate.
Working hard or working out, nutrition is important. With Centrum or Centrum Silver, you benefit from what science discovers about how the right multivitamins help unlock energy and strengthen immunity. Centrum and Centrum Silver, always complete from A to Zinc.
Gotta go right now. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Gotta go right now. Gotta go.
I have got to go now. Stop!
If an overactive bladder makes you go and go and go, go to your doctor and ask about Detrol LA.
Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
Just one daily dose helps control bladder contractions that cause those sudden urges and reduces accidents and bathroom visits.
Anyone need a break?
Not right now.
Prescription Detrol LA. You shouldn't take it if you have certain kinds of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems. The most common side effects are dry mouth, constipation, abdominal pain, and headache.
And I don't have to go right now.
Ask your doctor about Detrol LA when you've always got to go. What good is beauty if it's only skin deep? The new Camry, reinvented so it's sleeker, faster, roomier, better. You're going to want one. See your local Toyota dealer.
I take batting practice. I take infield practice. I take Viagra.
Ready to try Viagra for the first time? Ask your doctor if a free sample is right for you and visit Viagra.com for more information.
Step up to the plate and make an appointment to see your doctor.
A passing of note tonight. One of the world's most influential women has died. Her name was Eppie Lederer, but 90 million readers remember her as Dear Ann Landers. Long before Oprah and the self-help industry, there was Ann Landers, compassionate and to the point.
I do have influence, clout we call it, and I do use it in situations where I think it will help.
The daughter of Russian immigrants, she liked to call herself a nice Jewish girl from Sioux City, Iowa.
It never occurred to me that I would ever have a career. I never thought about working. I thought about getting married, having a family, staying home.
Lederer got her start in 1955 when the Chicago Sun-Times held a competition to take over the Ann Landers column. Eppie, who had never held down a job or written a word for publication, had a knack for it and won. Over the years, she advised millions of people. As the country changed, so did the letters from her readers and the advice she gave them, from raising children to sex.
A woman would much rather have a man who can't perform, but who will hold her close and tenderly and say, I really care about you, baby. That's what women want.
Eppie Lederer always preached the importance of traditional family life, but she also supported gay rights and a woman's right to have an abortion. Early in her career, Lederer often solicited help from her twin sister Pauline, who became so good at it that she began her own advice column. Dear Abby was born, although Ann Landers was always more widely read.
There was something really democratic about Eppie. Everyone knew that before she became a newspaper columnist, she was a so-called housewife. And what did she become? The greatest success among newspaper writers in the whole world.
Her last column was published today.
I've been at it a long time. Yeah. I just hope that I made a difference.
And many believe she did. Eppie Lederer, Ann Landers, died of cancer. She was 83 years old. And we'll be back.
Accepted anything just because someone said so. So why are you just accepting that as you get older, it's normal to run to the bathroom 8 or more times a day? It isn't. It could be overactive bladder, a medical condition that can interrupt your sleep and your life, even embarrass you. But it doesn't have to. Because once a day, Ditropan XL is clinically proven to help control overactive bladder for 24 hours. If you have certain types of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems, you should not take Ditropan XL. In studies, the most common side effect was dry mouth. Other side effects may include constipation, drowsiness, blurred vision, dizziness, diarrhea, and nausea. Talk to your healthcare professional about Ditropan XL. Ditropan XL. There are some things you don't have to accept.
Some women solve problems before they start. Little ones and big ones, like your heart. Introducing Today from One A Day, the only complete multivitamin with soy for your heart and bones. A better tomorrow starts with Today, new from One A Day.
You won't believe your eyes. Red Lobster's Jumbo Shrimp. Big succulent shrimp in mouth-watering combinations. Choose from crunch fried, coconut, or scampi. Mix and match any two for just $12.99. Red Lobster. Go overboard.
I take batting practice. I take infield practice. I take Viagra.
Ready to try Viagra for the first time? Ask your doctor if a free sample is right for you and visit Viagra.com for more information.
Step up to the plate and make an appointment to see your doctor.
My darling Jeffrey, I miss you so much. I can't stand the thought of another lonely night. When will I see your beautiful brown eyes again? I love you with every fiber of my being. Your dearest love, Annabelle.
80% less paperwork, only from Bank of America.
Tuesday on The Mole, these 8 players have reached the halfway point. Yeah! And there's no turning back.
You're here for yourself and nobody else.
Now a brutal vote.
Rank your fellow players from favorite to least favorite.
Will change the game forever.
I'm going to offer you a bribe. $50,000 if you walk out of the game tonight.
The Mole 2, a new episode this Tuesday, 9/8 Central on ABC.
A brief review of our main story. In Arizona tonight, the largest wildfire in the nation is burning out of control. A second fire nearby is about to merge with it. Together, they have destroyed nearly 200 homes, and 25,000 people have been evacuated. Finally tonight, you might think living in a place as luxurious as Kensington Palace would be prohibitively expensive. Think again. ABC's Richard Gisbert reports from London.
Getting embarrassed by members of one's family has somehow become part of the Queen's job description. This time, it's not her children or her husband behaving inappropriately, it's her cousin. Prince Michael of Kent and his German-born wife are what's known as minor royals. What the Kents share with major royals are bloodlines and expensive tastes.
The Kents live here at Kensington Palace, Princess Diana's former residence. Normally, an apartment like theirs with 7 bedrooms plus servants' quarters would rent for about $1 million a year. The Kents pay an annual rent of just $5,000, which one member of Parliament calls
the best housing benefit system in Europe.
If the Kents took their rent money, about $400 a month, to a real estate agent in the same area, the negotiations would not last long.
If you came to me with that sort of money, around here the only thing we would be able to offer you is a parking space.
They would have to move to London's East End, much less fashionable, and settle for a room in a boarding house, like this one. Normally, the British government can defend the expense of the monarchy. After all, the royal family does attract tourist revenue. But the Kents seldom bother with any royal duties. He's a businessman who'd rather trade on his name than cut ribbons.
Can you explain the principle of why it's fair that working people should subsidize a lavish lifestyle for these folks because they were born in the Queen's family?
I think I'm going to beat a diplomatic silence on that particular one.
But the people, even supporters of the monarchy, need not be diplomatic.
Unless they're working for where they live in, right? Put the rent up.
There's also a proposal to turn Kensington Palace into some sort of museum. If that happens, the Kents could be evicted, or better yet, put on display. Relics of a bygone era. Minor royals with major expense accounts. Richard Gisbert, ABC News, London.
And that's our report. I'm Carol Simpson. For all of us here at ABC News, have a good week and good night.
This week, kids and textbook heroes, the changing faces of education. Plus, men forced to pay child support when they're not the father on World News Tonight.
Showtime! Please.
Behind these doors lies the real-life drama.
Let's get him up here. Can I give you a hug?
Of Houston Medical, Tuesday, 10/9 Central on ABC.
Live at 6:30, K2 News with Deanna Connell. An exclusive microcast weather with Julia Radlin. K2 and you, the new spirit of the Northwest.
A quick stop for some serious campaigning. The Vice President of the U.S. arrived in Portland just before 4:30 this afternoon aboard Air Force Two. Mr. Cheney stepped off the plane about 10 minutes later. His motorcade stopped traffic along I-205, I-84, and I-405 as it delivered him to the Benson Hotel in downtown. There, he was greeted by members of the Young Republican National Federation and protesters with a wide range of concerns. First on 2 at 6:30, the Vice President of the United States is in downtown Portland right now, and security around his hotel is very tight. The K2 coverage team brings you the Vice President's visit to town from all angles tonight. Shelley Bailey Shaw is live with reaction from the man Mr. Cheney is in town stumping for. But we begin with Joe English live where we believe the Vice President is resting up right now. Joe, Mr. Cheney's arrival brought out the protesters.